It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. For their details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org. And for It's Movie Time, I'm Crystal Davis.
And I'm John DeSando, and this is It's Movie Time. Crystal, back in the 80s, there was a play by August Wilson called Fences.
Mm-hmm.
Took a long time for it to come to the screen because August Wilson wanted a black director.
He did.
And he got it.
He did.
With Denzel Washington. Now, people are flooded with excellent movies at this time of year, right?
That's true.
So, Crystal, is it worth seeing?
I definitely think it's worth seeing. It was a lot different than I expected. I had not seen the Broadway play or revival, so
sure.
I went in completely blind, didn't know what to expect, but I will have to say that I really enjoyed the movie. Definitely had some twists to it.
I know, it did, and although not totally unusual, but a good twist like that always catches me.
It does.
And I don't know why I don't see these things coming. But Denzel plays a garbage man.
Yes.
Back in the 50s, Pittsburgh.
Yes.
You can see the mat screen in the back of the smokestacks. Yes.
Yes, and it's really a very simplistic movie. I mean, the way that it's shot, not very many scenes in the movie as far as locations are concerned, but I think that the acting is really what set this movie apart. I think that the acting across the board was just fantastic.
Well, two things. First of all, you're reminding me that some of the controversy about this film, not that it's a controversial, but some criticism that some people give it is that it's too static. Much of the action takes place on the back porch of their humble home in working class Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Now, I think Denzel, as the director, takes that camera around. I think he moves it.
He does.
At least enough for me. How about you?
I think so too. I was surprised that they weren't getting out and about more, and especially at one point when another woman comes into the picture, you never see that woman. So I was kind of surprised a little bit about some of the elements of the movie, but
okay.
I think that they did that on purpose because they wanted to focus on the family dynamic.
You bet. They're certainly the fact that this had been a play, and Washington seems to have wanted to take as much of that play as he possibly could and transfer it to the screen. You're going to get some staginess. I guess that's the point.
Yes.
People are going to complain it's not cinematic. Well, heck, for me, the words are it.
I agree. Definitely the dialogue
Oh
was
my gosh, yeah.
what was it in this movie, and the emotions, and again, the acting, wow.
So what do you think?
It's fantastic.
What acting are you thinking about when you say that?
I'm thinking Denzel, I think, did a fantastic job, but I really, Viola Davis and her part, wow. I mean, she was just so powerful.
Isn't that interesting? Denzel comes off at the beginning as this bad boy poet. You know, he's all full of vinegar about his past as an athlete, and just prior to Jackie Robinson and all the black athletes who are coming into the fore, he wasn't. And so he's got all this bitterness in him.
He does.
He just dominates the
Can you
screen.
blame him? I mean,
I hear James Earl Jones dominate even more when he played it back in the 80s.
yes, I read that as well
So,
about some of the.
and I think, would you agree Denzel put on some weight for this?
He did. I was surprised at that as well, but I knew that he had done that to be in line with the character.
Oh yeah, right. It is, and his pants are baggy. And
Yes.
he's just, and I love the shot for me that crystallizes everything, if I can use your name
Sure.
for that, is when he's riding on the back of the garbage truck with his buddy. I'm saying to myself, this guy makes $20 million a year. He's right, and then I understand he had some experience on garbage trucks anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you found out that he drove a garbage truck at one point, so that was very interesting. Gave him some good perspective.
But your point, which I really appreciate, is that after a while, Viola Davis takes over.
She does. Yes, when they have their relationship issues and they are dealing with those issues, it's like, wow, you see not only what a great actress she is, but you also feel the power of her character in that situation. And it really, you forget it's Viola Davis, and you really do feel the character.
Wow,
and you feel the emotions of the character. I mean, at one point, she was crying, and basically snot was running down her face.
Yeah, right.
And it was not a pretty scene.
No,
but that's how you would be when you're in life dealing with these intense issues. You don't care about how you look. You care about what your heart is feeling at that point in time.
That's a great point. The camera comes in really tight on her, and she's just snot and tears and all over the place. I mean, wow, talk about getting into character. I understand from my friend Patricia that this is typical of the black experience. That is the center around the kitchen. If you notice how many shots are in the kitchen with a little white Christ up above the stove.
Yes, religion came into play quite a bit in this movie.
Yeah,
which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel's always talking about the devil and death.
Yes, and he used a lot of baseball-related dialogue in the movie, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah,
there was always that baseball hanging out on a string in the backyard that they were batting with.
Wonderful.
Him and his sons.
Yeah, and it's so, I think Wilson has something so authentic here, because what the Denzel character knows is baseball.
Yes.
He apparently could have been good enough to play in the big leagues, but because of prejudice, and part of this film is about prejudice, even though I tend to think after a while they are truly human beings.
Yes.
They are, regardless of their color, that is. But Denzel speaks, as you said, he speaks in the metaphor of the baseball. And
all the time.
All the time, and it's wonderful because he has the heart of a poet, but of course he's not educated.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, he was illiterate, actually.
So all he could use his talent would be to use the baseball metaphor, and that's so true.
Even though he was illiterate, though, he was really well spoken.
Oh, he was, yes.
The way that he phrased things, he was a great storyteller, and he
God.
embellished a lot on his stories, which actually added to the appeal of his character.
Yes.
At times I found myself saying to myself, well, I want to not like this guy based upon some of the things that he has done, but you still like him. So that's kind of the dynamic of his character.
And that's the genius of the playwright, to make you care about the character, even though at times he's despicable.
Yes.
He does some things that are unacceptable.
Yes.
And he hurts people.
Mm-hmm.
I always love the relationship between him and his younger son.
Yes.
Corey, I think. And
who has all this potential. So he sees himself in Corey.
Yeah. Corey thinks it's a matter of competition. As far as Wilson goes, the playwright, it's probably a mixture of all these things, the lost opportunities, the prejudice against him.
Yes.
But then the glimmers, because he does make a case for being able to drive a garbage truck.
Yes, and he gets promoted, so that's awesome.
No, so a little incremental move forward. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's pretty. It's sometimes bleak, but other times, and some would say, the whole set was a little bit too clean and well ordered. But I don't know. I mean, these are all carping about. For me, when I go into it, I don't care what it looks like. I just want to hear what they have to say, and that's what happens in this film. It's really all about talk. Yeah. So if you don't like talking, maybe you better go see La La Land, cause
that's totally true. And I thought that the fence, the movie is called Fences. The fence was a central part of the movie. He was constantly building a fence, and so it's about the relationships and the fences that you build in relationships to protect yourself. And I think at one point they said fences are built to to sometimes keep people out or to keep people in.
Yeah, it's a great interpretation of that motif, and I think really we might agree it is keeping him insulated.
Yes.
And keeping out and keeping in and keeping them in that little world, which eventually is impossible to do, and life will catch up with them. Everybody in the film is in character. I love his buddy, Bono.
Yeah, he's great.
Isn't
He's
he?
one of the great performances of the film, I think.
Oh, I agree.
He was
No.
He was very honest, and I think at later part that kind of drove a wedge between him and Denzel's character.
Oh, yeah. But here, Crystal, a criticism I have. Denzel's older son, by
Yes.
another marriage, apparently.
Yes.
Yes. Doesn't he look a little bit older than 36?
Yes, he does. And I read that that's because they wanted to bring in some of the people who were in the Broadway revival with them. And so they did. They brought along some of those same people into the movie. And
Lady-
I think he did a great job, but yes, he was older than 36.
You are on top of it.
Yes.
Exactly. And bringing people over. Even Denzel's 10 years older than August Wilson, the playwright, wanted him to be in this. Although it works for me, but there are some times when he's a bad boy, it's perhaps not appropriate for his age. So there are
Yes.
things that, much better if he were in his 40s
Yes.
rather than his 50s. But believe me, we're just carping. We're looking for things. All right. Wow, boy, we are talking. Here we go. Here we go. Crystal Davis, the film is Fences. It stars Denzel Washington, Viola Davis. What grade would you award it?
I would give it a B, and the only reason is I think the acting is superb. But the only reason is I'm generally a person who likes happy movies, and I would have liked to seen a few of the issues resolved a little bit more than they were.
Right. Okay.
So that's my personal opinion. But again, I think it was a fantastic movie, and it's all about relationships.
And I'm going to give it an A. And for the exact reason that you're saying, I have to go by Woody Allen's motto. Woody Allen says, if my movie has made one more person miserable, I'll feel I've done my job.